Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out the brand new Tribit Flybuds C1 Pros. Now if you'll remember a little while back, we tested the original Flybuds C1s, and out of the world of budget true wireless earbuds, they have been one of the best that I've heard. So the fact that Tribit has now made a pro model of those definitely caught my attention. It does come in retailing at $129, so they definitely boosted the price. But right now it is on sale, and there is a coupon code, and you can pick it up for only $85. So we're going to check out what all comes inside the box. We're going to see what all features have been added to this pair, talk about the sound, and see if they're worth that $85 price tag. So to start with, let's go ahead and talk about the overall design. Now they did keep the original stem style design. They still kept that grill that's located around the top part, but with this pair having hybrid active noise canceling, which they've added, they also added additional mic grills as well. And one huge difference is the original version came in black, but the Pro model is only available in this beige, like cream type color. Now I do wish that it was available in black or maybe even just white, because I don't know that this sand looking color is going to be for everyone. Now one of the things that I am very glad that they stuck with is these still use that physical button that's located on the stem, so this pair is not relying on touch controls. And I am also happy to say that physical button gives you control over everything. So you're able to control your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, your volume control, and also being able to switch it between noise canceling and your ambient and your normal mode, again, all from the earbuds themselves. Now this pair also works with Tribit's app, and another thing they added is it does have what they're calling Audio Do Personal Sound, which is basically a hearing test that you go through. It's trying to see if you can hear certain tones, and then it just kind of customizes a listening experience based off your sound preference. Now it does have 24 pre-built EQ settings if you just want to go in and switch around those. It does allow you to go in and customize the EQ settings you want, and this Audio Do sound profile is actually separate from those EQ settings. It automatically just applies it to your sound, and any EQ setting that you switch it to also just kind of piggybacks onto your sound profile. Now one thing that I did notice is the default EQ compared to the other EQ settings is actually louder than those. So if you go through and switch it to different EQ settings, your volume is going to get a little bit lower. Now another interesting choice that Tribit decided to make is the original Flybuds had Bluetooth 5.2, and it also supported aptX playback, where the Pros went back to Bluetooth 5.0, and it only has AAC and SBC, which basically is like standard Bluetooth codec playback. I mean, pretty much every earbud out there has AAC playback. So it's very surprising that they decided to do this, but as far as compression in the audio, I didn't experience any. Also with watching movies, videos, or even playing games, I didn't really notice any kind of lag except for when it came to gaming. So that's also a plus because there's no gaming or low latency mode with this pair. But again, I found it very interesting that they went backwards to Bluetooth 5.0. So moving over to talking about the noise canceling and the ambient mode on the Flybuds C1 Pro, this $85 pair of earbuds actually competes with the Sony and the Bose, which I consider the top tier. I mean, Sony and the Bose, when it comes to noise canceling, blocks out a lot of your surroundings. They do a really good job of blocking out people talking, obviously engine noises and AC units and things like that. And the Tribit's Flybuds C1 Pros actually block a lot of that out as well. I mean, it is borderline right there with the Sony and the Bose, and I did not expect that. Even coming in at the retail price of $129, which comes in, well below half of the Sony and the Bose, the fact that under $100 getting noise canceling that's comparable, I think is the huge selling point on these earbuds. Now also with the ambient mode, I think they did an excellent job. You can easily hear your surroundings, so if you want to use this pair while you're running and you need to hear traffic, or if you're in an office environment, you need to hear people talking, you can also carry on a conversation without actually taking the earbuds out. Now, as far as using these outdoors, they do come in with an IPX4 rating. I do not believe that the original Flybuds had any kind of IP rating, so it's nice that you're getting a little bit more protection when it comes to rain and sweat and things like that, but this is still not a pair that you would want to submerge into water. Now, as far as what all they've included inside the box, you do get 6 sets of silicone ear tips, which is nice. It does come with a USB-C cable, which you will have to use because even though this is a Pro version, they still do not have Qi wireless charging, which I wish that these had. But speaking of the charging, and another interesting choice is the battery life is now weaker on these than it is the originals, because with the originals you could get about 12 hours on the earbuds with around 50 hours using the case, where with these you're going to get about 8 hours on the earbuds and around 36 hours using the case. Now, both of these are with noise canceling off, which obviously the original ones didn't have noise canceling. But if you decide to use these with the noise canceling on, it drops your battery life down to 6 hours on the earbuds and about 28 hours using the case. And another feature that the original ones had that the new ones don't is there's no fast charging on the Pro model, where the original ones, even though it wasn't like overly impressive, it was like maybe 5 minutes charge would give you an hour's worth of use. I at least like the fact that it had it, where the Pro model doesn't. Now, moving over to looking at the case, it has this very nice textured feel to it. It just has a better grip overall. Now, on the bottom, you can see the USB-C input for charging. And then around on the front, you have a pairing button with 4 indicator lights. That way you can see that the earbuds are in and that they're charging. And then you can also gauge about how much battery life is left on the case. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for taking phone calls, this is another area I was impressed with these. They're using 6 microphones so that it's able to focus in on your voice, but it's also using environmental noise canceling so that it can block out a lot of your surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
So here is the mic test using the Flybuds C1. And again, overall, I think it does a really good job of picking up my voice. Now, it does sound slightly digital and does add some warmth to it, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And the sound on these, it's very weird to say, again, because of its price tag. It's very comparable to the Sony XM4s. And again, that is a much more expensive pair. I don't know why, it just seems like they're tuned very closely to those. Now, I do want to say that I think that the overall volume on the C1 Pros, it is slightly lower than on the original Flybuds. I felt like I was listening at around maybe 90%, where with the original ones, I was probably at around 80. So I don't know why the volume is lower, but that keeps these from having any kind of distortion. It is still a dynamic sounding pair of earbuds. The bass has plenty of punch to it, but it is a tighter bass. It doesn't sound loose. It doesn't sound sloppy. It doesn't come in and roll over everything else, which allows the mids and the treble to still have a lot of detail. And that's while keeping these sounding slightly warm overall. There's not a bright or overly harsh sound to it. And the mids seem like they're just pushed slightly forward so that they're out in front no matter what genre you're listening to. You don't feel like the vocalist gets lost in the mix. You don't feel like instruments just kind of bury or drown them out. So overall, I'm just really impressed with the way that these are tuned. But another area that really surprised me was the soundstage and the sound imaging. This really does sound like a very wide open earbud. It doesn't sound like anything is just closed in and cluttered. There's plenty of space, and it does an excellent job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So my overall opinion is this. I do still find it very interesting that they decided to take some things away from this pair, especially with calling it the Pro model. You're getting less battery life on this pair. You're losing that aptX playback, and you don't get fast charging. But the fact that you're getting some of the best noise canceling on any pair of true wireless earbuds, and you're getting sound quality that, again, is comparable to the Sony's, which is a much more expensive pair, I can kind of forgive some of these things that they're taking away. They did tune this pair differently, so they don't sound like the original Flybuds. They have a more well-refined sound, but they still have a dynamic sound. It's just overall very impressive what they were able to do. But guys, that wraps up my video on the Tribit Flybuds C1 Pro. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.